Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 6 of the Choose UCalgary Podcast. I'm your host, Montana, and I'm excited today to be joined with Emmi Munro. Here at the Choose UCalgary Podcast, we're trying to help you on your journey to learning more about the University of Calgary and how it could be the right fit for you. With that, let's get into it. Today, we'll be joined by an amazing University of Calgary student named Emmi Munro. Emmi is in her third year of engineering at the Schulich School of Engineering, and she's going to join us today to discuss her experience throughout the past 3 years and some of the takeaways. Emmi, welcome to the show. Can you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Hi, I'm Emmi. I am in engineering. I have a major in chemical and a minor in biomedical engineering, and I'm in my third year at University of Calgary.
Awesome. So where did you grow up? Are you from Calgary?
I grew up in North Vancouver, BC, and I went to UCalgary for a few reasons, I guess. They offered me some scholarship incentive because I am a female in engineering, and that is usually a good thing if you do want to get scholarships. And also my older brother goes to the university, so it was a good opportunity for me to be with him and also be away from home, so I kind of had a home away from home.
Gotcha. Awesome. So obviously you said you had your brother here, but were you still nervous leading up to moving to Calgary?
I was a little bit nervous. I obviously am not good with directions, as some people know about me, so I was very scared about getting lost on campus, which I have several times. I got rescued by a very nice fifth-year student in engineering on my first day living on campus. I got lost in the engineering basement. So that was worrisome for me, but other than that, I was excited mostly. I really wanted to move away from home, and yeah.
Yeah. So I think you kind of said in the first couple of weeks, those nerves were kind of able to settle fairly quickly.
Yeah, I was just mostly scared about finding classes, but I did every morning. I would forget how to get to my classes, so I used the university has the class map, the plan finder.
Yeah.
And I used that. That's a lifesaver. So yeah, it was good. I didn't know that existed when I got there, and then.
Yeah, that's good for prospective students to know for sure. So from that transition to BC to Alberta, what was it like? And maybe even Calgary specifically. What did you notice that was a lot different?
It was a lot colder.
Yeah.
There's a lot less traffic here. Not that I drive, but it's much better and less busy. University of Calgary campus was so much more home to me. It was kind of more student oriented. Calgary felt more of a home when I visited, so I was I want to come here, and yeah, it was more of a smaller vibe than big Vancouver. A
sense of community more so, would you say? Yeah, for sure. So you've been in Calgary for 3 years now. Obviously, even with the pandemic, you have been here the whole time. So what in the past years, even when you were on campus or off, was your favorite experience since being in Calgary? A specific memory or something?
I don't know. I mean, I have good memories with my friends that are lovely that I met here. I'd say school-oriented. I did a research project last summer that was a really good memory for me, and I made a very good connection that has been helping me with trying to apply for MCATs and studying for it. So that was a good memory for me, was that research project and kind of getting to use the stuff I had learned.
Right, yeah. With that research program that you just mentioned, how did that come about, or where did you find it?
I was put into contact with Dr. Chantel Diebert, who runs some neuroscience programs at the Hotchkiss Brain Institute, which is affiliated with UFC. And she was a family friend of a friend of mine that I met in engineering, and she told me that a startup health device company was looking for a student to help them with their project, and so I reached out to those people that she put me in touch with and asked them for a position, and they said that they were planning to work alongside a clinical trial, and so I asked if I could work on that too, and I became their kind of liaison, I guess, working with both of them to collaborate, and that was pretty cool. So yeah, it's kind of making connections, your friends and stuff, you never really know who's gonna like have a job for you, or like it's best to just meet people and like ask around, and if they know like you want a job, people will usually offer you one eventually, or like there's a lot of opportunities.
For sure. With that, with the program and with like the clinical and everything, what did like an average day look like when you were working there over the summer?
It depended which place I was working, but most days I worked on the university's research campus, which is right next to the normal campus. And I would go into the life sciences hub, and I would go work on a few things. We would build the actual chips that we were making that are basically arm patches that they collect sweat, and then you can test the sweat for cortisol levels and find stress responses to physical activity. So I built those, and I would contact patients and like participants to come be tested on. And then I would test their samples, which is a whole process that we don't need to get into. And then when I worked on the clinical trial, I would go to Foothills Hospital, which is also right near the campus. And I would meet with a PhD candidate named Leah Mercier, who was very nice. And we would meet the patients, and we'd run a test. It's like a physical activity test. I don't want to get too technical. And it was just for a study that she was working on for her PhD. And yeah, it was nice. I just, it was a good experience for sure. And it was like a pretty chill day overall.
That's good. No, that's a great experience, though. That's really cool that you're able. So that was this past summer. Can you take me back to when you first started in September of 2019, correct? Yes, okay. So back in 2019, obviously we were online, and I know that you lived in residence the first year. So can you tell us a little bit about where in residence you lived and kind of your experience there?
Yes. I lived in Hotel Alma, which I believe is called International House now.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Mine had my own bedroom, and my roommate had her own bedroom, and we had a bathroom in our dorm. So, like, pretty cool. It also was right above the DC, which was nice because I'm not a big winter person. I didn't have to go outside to go get breakfast, which is awesome.
You could walk to the dining center every day.
It was so good.
So good,
It was like an elevator down. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And, I also love the DC's food. I do miss that very much. Fun fact, Emmy's a vegetarian.
Yeah.
And really good vegetarian food. So, yeah, for all my vegetarians listening.
Yeah, the vegetarians, if you're in residence, you'll be taken care of. I know I have a friend that lives in residence, and she was vegan as well. And vegan, not vegetarian. And she had a lot of options there, and she always raved that the food was really good for that and help with anyone's dietary restrictions. It was like something for everyone. So that's great. A little bit more about residence. Would you recommend it to someone moving in? Is there anything that you wished you did differently with your experience there? Or any tips for anyone that is looking to live in residence?
I would say I think first year, especially when you're like brand new, you have way too much on your plate already than like thinking about like taking care of your own house or apartment or whatever, and getting yourself fed. It's a lot of work. So like going to res, it's kind of like you'll have a good diet, you'll be eating properly, and like you'll have like more support, I'd say, than if you were to live alone. Like I loved my residence because I had like my friends very close by like all the time, and like there's more of a sense of community. It's good for meeting people, and it's good for adjusting.
So you're in residence the first year, you're getting lost on campus, and you're taking engineering. So you got a lot going on. With engineering, obviously you're a woman in engineering. What advice would you have to another woman that is looking to pursue engineering? For this week's Who Inspires You from the University of Calgary comes from Tira Cassie, a fifth-year biological archaeology student. Who inspires her is Jerry O'Tlair. Jerry has a unique world perspective, cares about his students, and is passionate about his work. His insight of the Western worldview and the importance of Indigenous worldviews is crucial. We cannot wait to see who inspires you at the University of Calgary.
For general engineering things, pursuing it, I'd say don't get too stressed out if you have no idea what major you want to choose. I went into first year with no clue. I was like, I do not have any idea. I really hope I figure it out in the next few months, and like I did. And I would say do not procrastinate, which is like a hard thing to say, but like when you get into your first year, there's a lot of deadlines and there's a lot of things going on. You have a lot of classes and it's a huge adjustment, and getting things done as soon as possible is usually the best call. What else? I'd say get ready to do homework, because a lot of my fellow engineers came out of high school and they had not done a minute of homework the entire time, which is like, I guess, a good thing, but you come into engineering and it's a lot more difficult than
more demanding.
anything else.
Yeah, definitely more demanding, and it can also be very competitive, as I know you've mentioned. So is there any other tips or tricks or something that maybe you wish you were more on top of, or like a way that you stayed organized, anything like that?
I personally put all of my deadlines for the entire semester in my like reminders on my phone for like each day. It has like a reminder, and that helps me like not miss a deadline, especially with online school. It's harder to like kind of know when your tests and stuff are. So I'd say that's like a good thing to do, or like make an Excel and like you can sort it by date. I do that too sometimes. Then you can say like if your test is open or closed book, and like that helps. So like definitely organization's important. I'd say it's probably a good call to get a tablet and or iPad of some sort, because it's much easier to do a lot of the work with that. But if you don't have that, you're fine. It's okay. A lot of people have like the old-fashioned way is great.
Different communities, for sure. Different communities.
It's very funny.
Yeah, for sure.
And anything I wish I did, I think I wish I was more social. In my first year, I did not become friends with a lot of other engineers until last semester maybe, or last year. So I'd say that's like a thing, like definitely reach out to people more. And I would say a big thing is go to orientation, because I met a few engineers there that I'm still friends with now, 3 years later.
Yeah, orientation's a big one. So yeah, definitely. So as you said, there's all these different classes you take. Some are engineering related, some aren't. Is there a specific course or a professor that even taught a course that really stuck with you long after it ended?
When I was in first year in winter, I took a class called Physics 259, and it was electricity and magnetism. And the professor was Dr. Emma Spanswick, and she was like very young and very cool, and like she was one of my few like female professors that year, and I thought she was so awesome. And she had worked for NASA, I think, doing she studied like geomagnetic storms, I think, in like the atmosphere, and she had done projects helping, I guess, like if there's a electromagnetic storm in the atmosphere, they divert like planes that are like transatlantic planes south to avoid it, because it can like expose the flight crew and people to like radiation. So she worked on that and like tracking that, and like she had done a few other things, but I could not possibly list them. But I thought she was super cool, and she was a really good professor too, so she stuck with me, I guess.
No, definitely. No, that's awesome. So that was in your first year. Obviously, you're 3 years in, 1 year to go, hopefully. I know a lot of people take 5 years or whatever, and obviously that's a nice part of the university experience too. But on the case that you do have 1 year left, what else are you looking or hoping to get out of your university experience as you approach your final year?
Yeah, I guess that depends on what I'm doing. But like I have a research project that I'm going to do this summer as well. And I might try and take an internship, which is like you do after third year in engineering, starting in September, which not a lot of people know that you can start it in September. So like, fun fact. But if I do go back to school, I am going to do a capstone, which is like you have to do. And hopefully that goes well and maybe gives me some career options. But I ultimately think that I want to go either into research or into medical school after I'm done my degree. So like maybe starting to study for MCATs sometime soon. And also at the university, I'd say I'm hoping to go back on campus and spend some more time doing that. And yeah, I think just overall enjoying my last year. Is what I want to do.
For sure. Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I hope you do enjoy your last year. And thank you again for being on the podcast and for this week's episode for sharing your experience at the University of Calgary. Here at the University of Calgary, we look forward to engaging with prospective students. So please feel free to reach out to us via our Instagram or Facebook or our website, which are all linked below in the description. And until next time, this has been the Choose UCalgary podcast. Bye for now.